Welcome back to English 4.0, the radio show. Let's go! Advanced. All right, yes, welcome back to Class 73 and the advanced portion now. Yeah, that's right. Getting started with a little review of what we saw in the last class. We were talking about overdoing things and underdoing things. I overcooked the pizza, but I undercooked the eggs. Oh, no. So to overcook means I cooked them too much. And if I undercooked them, then I didn't cook them enough. So we can overspend. I said yesterday that I often overspend at Christmas time. I spend too much. I overspend. Yes. I overeat as well at Christmas time. I never undereat at Christmas time. I always overeat. During the week, I often overwork. Yeah, I work a lot, maybe a bit too much. And we have the expression here, to overdo it. Oh man, he really overdid it. He overdid it with to do anything excessively can be to overdo it. He overdid it with his acting. That was the example I gave yesterday. He overdid it with his acting. He was just too animated, and it didn't seem realistic. He was overdoing it. Yeah, to overdo something. We can have to oversleep. How about to underestimate? Subestimar. Subestimar. To underestimate. To underestimate. So to underestimate someone's ability, for example. To underuse. To underuse something. You're not using it enough. We have these skills and we're underusing them. We have to use the skills more. We have to stop underusing them. We have very creative people in this company. I think we are underusing them. We have to use them more. To underuse. Underdress. Yeah. I went to a wedding once and I was wearing a suit, which was fine, but then a guy showed up in blue jeans and a T-shirt to a wedding, and everyone thought that he was underdressed. Yes, he was underdressed. Yeah. So we have this idea of over and under, to overdo something, and then to underdo something. We could be overdressed as well. If I wore a tuxedo to the radio studio, then I would be overdressed. I don't have to wear a tuxedo. You know, the tuxedo, the black suit with the bow tie and the cummerbund, we call it, which is the type of belt that you wear. Well, not a belt, it covers your belt area. A cummerbund as part of a tuxedo. But if I wore a tuxedo, one of those suits like people like George Clooney wears when he wins the Oscar award, a tuxedo. And if I wore a tuxedo to the radio station, I would be overdressed. But if I wore ripped old blue jeans, I would be underdressed. So the key is to be appropriately dressed. Not overdressed, not underdressed. Okay. Then at the very end of the last class, we started looking at a structure. There were 700 to 800 people at the concert. So now, how many people were there at the concert? So answer me out loud in voz alta. There were 700 to 800 people at the concert. Now, we don't say there were from 7 to 8. No. There were 700 to 800 people at the concert. There are 11 to 12 million voters in the country. How many voters are there? There are 11 to 12, right? Out loud. There are 11 to 12 million voters in the country. There are 32 to 33 million people in Canada. How many people are there in Canada? There are 31 to 32 million people in Canada. Actually, maybe a few more, maybe 33 million now. Yes. There are 18 to 20,000 people in the stadium. How many people are there? There are 18 to 20,000 people in the stadium. Yeah. There are 300 to 400 people in the audience. Yeah, there are 300 to 400 people in the audience. How many people are there in the audience? What did I say? There are 300 to 400 people in the audience. There are 5,000 to 6,000 dogs on the streets. How many dogs are there on the streets? There are 5,000 to 6,000 dogs on the streets. There are 60,000 to 80,000 radio listeners. How many radio listeners are there? There are 60,000 to 80,000 radio listeners. This is a grammatical example. I don't know how many people are listening to this radio show. Thousands and thousands, no doubt, but I don't know how many. I'm not sure how many people there are listening. Anyhow, it's time to move on. Expression of the day. Yes, it is time for the expression of the day. Our expression of the day today is the big cheese. The big cheese. Yeah, el gran queso. The big cheese. Now, the big cheese is the boss. Very simple, yeah. Around here, Richard Vaughn is the big cheese. He's the boss. He's the main man. He's the big cheese. This is a very well-known expression in English. To be the big cheese. The boss. I'm not talking about Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen is the boss. But around here, Richard Vaughn is the big cheese. The boss, right? El jefe, the boss. Yeah. All right. All right, now we're going to practice with the passive voice again. Remember, we apply the verb to be, and then we add the participle of the verb. So here we're gonna practice with we're gonna practice with the past, the simple past. So se canceló. It was canceled. No se canceló por la mañana. It wasn't canceled in the morning. ¿Por qué se canceló? Why was it canceled? Why was it canceled? It was canceled because of the rain. Who canceled it? Who canceled it? It was canceled by the president. Or who canceled it? Who was it canceled by? Who was it canceled by? There's the passive voice. It was canceled. Who was it canceled by? It was canceled by the president. Active voice. Who canceled it? Passive voice. Who was it canceled by? It was canceled by the president. Now, it was broken. Ask me how it was broken. My watch, for example. Ask me how it was broken. Kyle, how was it broken? No, it was broken when I dropped it. Ask me when it was broken. Kyle, when was it broken? It was broken last night. Ask me what time it was broken. What time was it broken? It was broken at 10 p.m. Yes, it was broken. Now, what about North America being discovered? Ask me when North America was discovered. Kyle, when was North America discovered? Yes. When was North America discovered? Well, North America, I will say North America was discovered by modern Europeans, modern, entre comillas, in quote-unquote modern Europeans, discovered in 1497 by John Cabot. North America, right? You could say that North America was discovered by Cabot because this John Cabot in English, Giovanni Caboto, you say. Well, they say in Italian, but in English we say John Cabot. But this discovery, the discovery of North America, is commonly, people think that Columbus discovered America, yes, and he discovered America, but not North America. North America, we can say, was discovered by Cabot, although Leif Erikson from Norway landed there. He landed in Canada in the year 1003, so almost 500 years before Columbus. Leif Erikson from Norway, or from Scandinavia at least. At that time, the countries weren't divided as such. But he came from Scandinavia and landed in the year 1003 in a region that is now Newfoundland in Canada. So when was it discovered? Ask me when it was discovered. Kyle, when was it discovered? It was discovered in 1497 by Cabot. Okay, you could say it was discovered by Erikson, but he went and he established a community, but I believe he died. I think Erikson died. I'm going to have to research this, but more recently, in terms of explorers from Europe who went, documented North America, and then went back and commented on it and brought people, Cabot was the first to do that. It was visited, we could say. It was visited before then by Leif Erikson. Okay? So it was visited. It was canceled. The meeting, it was canceled. Okay? Passive voice here. In the past. When was it canceled? It was canceled last night. Ask me why it was canceled. Why was it canceled? It was canceled due to lack of demand. Okay? Vocabulary of the day. Yes, it is time for our vocabulary of the day. Our 5 words of vocabulary. The first word today, vino añejo. Vintage wine. Vintage wine. Yes. Debilidad. Weakness. Weakness. Number 3, alianza de bodas. Wedding ring. I'll give you a bit more time. Wedding ring. Wedding ring. Voluntad. Will. Will. W-I-L-L. Will. If you do something at your own will, it means according to your voluntad. It's your decision. It's your desire to do it. According to your will. Now, we also have a will, which is the document that you create before your death to list who you would like your possessions to go to. Your will, your last will and testament, we can say. So your will list. You could say, my gold watch goes to Uncle Joe or Cousin Peter, and my son Bill gets all my money, and my daughter Susan gets the house, or whatever. So the will is that document. And our last word, bruja. Witch. Witch. W-I-T-C-H. Witch. 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 W-I-T-C-H. Now we have W-H-I-T-C-H, which is witch as in cual. But the pronunciation is the same. Witch. Witch. At Halloween, we think about witches, yes, and ghosts. Witches and ghosts, yeah. All right, it's time now to move on. Translation. Yes, it is time for our translation list. We can move on now to translation list 15. And starting with number 1. So remember to repeat these out loud, en voz alta at home. Este cuadro presenta un desglose de las ventas por regiones. At home, out loud. This chart, este cuadro, Well, this chart shows a breakdown, un desglose, a breakdown of sales by region. This chart shows a breakdown of sales by region. Very good. Number 2. Si no les animas, perderían su entusiasmo. If you don't encourage them, they'll lose their enthusiasm. If you don't encourage them, they'll lose their enthusiasm. Number 3. Este remedio servirá por ahora. Este remedio servirá por ahora. This remedy will do. Servirá. It will do for the time being. For the time being, por ahora. For the time being. This remedy will do for the time being. Number 4. ¿Cómo va la campaña de publicidad? How's the advertising campaign going? How's the advertising campaign going? Number 5. Ella se negó a darle la mano. Se negó a darle la mano. She refused to shake his hand. She refused to shake his hand. Number 6. Es asombroso cómo logras convencer a la gente de lo que sea. It's amazing how you manage to convince people about anything. It's amazing how you manage to convince people about anything. Number 7. ¿Cómo puedes permitirte el lujo de perder tantos días de trabajo? How can you afford to miss so many days of work? How can you afford to miss so many days of work? Very good. Very good. We are out of time. We haven't looked at all the sentences, but we will come back tomorrow and review and go through all the sentences, okay? So be sure to study at home with the translation list and with the student guide, and pay attention to the classes on TV today. And I'll be back tomorrow with more. Thanks for listening. See you next time. Bye-bye.